Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Keydrin 924 Photography, and I'm here today to give you some tips on how to freeze motion from action shots. So we're going to get ready to go out and we're going to shoot Ian Gaines. He is a sponsored rider by Icon, KTM, the list goes on. He is a phenomenal stunt rider. We're going to go into a parking lot because we want to be safe. The main thing is between the photographer and the actual rider, the first tip I want you to do is be safe. So for me, being safe, even though I know Ian, things can happen, wider shots do look better. Like if you're really close up, most times I will shoot with a wide and get like right in on the action and shoot. The rider has to know their bike and you have to know where you need to be at. So for this shoot, we're going to use the 105. So my next tip is choosing the right focal length for your shoot. I could have used the 135 to be a little bit further. I could have used the 105. I could have even used the 85 to be just a little bit closer to the action. A 50 would even work. So just make sure that you're using the lens of your choice of how you want to shoot. And I wanted to do the 105 because I wanted to get these nice depth of field images. So my next tip for you when freezing action is ISO. You want to evaluate what scene are you in? What time of day are you shooting? Because this is going to affect where your ISO will lie. A lower ISO, but in between 100 and like 200 for now. Later on, we will bump that ISO up and we will bring our shutter speed down. So my next tip would be aperture. What do you want to shoot this as? How do you want your image to look? Do you want that depth of field or do you want to be everything in focus? For me, since we're shooting in a warehouse, I didn't want a lot of the stuff to be in the background being distracted, so I decided to shoot with the 105 and I'm going to be shooting at 1.8 aperture. Now you can stop this down to f2.2 or 3.5, whichever one is good for you. Now the next thing we need to do is when you're freezing action, you want to be over 1/1000th of a second. That's just my rule of thumb at all times. I don't like to go below that to freeze the action. Now, if you wanted to get artistic with this, what you could do is you could lower the shutter speed down a lot further to get that motion blur. This is completely up to you. But for this shoot, I wanted to freeze the action. So we're not gonna be using lights today. We're gonna be using all natural light and then we're gonna use some post work so you can see exactly what I did. Okay, so this can be on a variety of shoots, whether you're shooting football, basketball, motorcycles, soccer, it does not matter. These rules will still apply when you're stopping action. So the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure our camera is set up correct for tracking. So what I like to use in my Sony a7 IV, I like to do wide and I like to do continuous focus. This way, when I am tracking, as soon as I lock on, my camera will lock on to the subject and it would stay on there. The next thing I like to do in my camera, I like to go inside my camera and I need to change my focus speed because you have a range from 0, lock on, to really responsive. Most time when you get your camera, it's going to be in the center at 3. So for this one, I want it to lock on since I only have one subject. So I'm going to put it to 1 or 0. We want to watch Ian's motion. So right now I'm just watching Ian and I'm seeing what he's doing, trying to see how he gets the feel of the bike. This will let me know where I need to be at for the shoot. So since we got that done, now what we want to do is we want to find what angle we want to shoot at that's going to be least distracting. Obviously, we're in a place that doesn't really look good. So we're going to have, to our left, we're going to have like the warehouses, and to our right, we got some of the sky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot both ways, and then when I get into post, I'll be able to pick whichever one I need in post. So I'll have the wall over here, or I'll have the sky if I choose to do a sky replacement. All right, so now we're going to get into the action. We got the shutter speed down. I'm going to do it for a test run, and I'm going to see how Ian is going to be riding. So for this shoot, we are going to be more planned. We're going to do stoppies, we're going to do burnouts, we're going to do circles, and we're going to do some wheelies. My next tip for you is to always check your work. Most people want to spray spray and pray when they go out at football games, which is nothing wrong with that. If you want to spray and pray, that's absolutely up to you. Me, I don't really like spraying and praying. I still shoot a lot of images, but I like to track my shots. So I may take 2 or 3 at the same time, you know, back to back to back, but I'm not spraying and praying. So I'm just gonna do a recap. You want to set your camera up to your ISO. That ISO is going to be based upon the time of day you're shooting. The lower your ISO, the cleaner the image is going to look. Next thing we want to do, we want to choose our aperture. You want to choose how you want your background to look. Do you want it in focus or do you want it out of focus? So for me, I chose to do 1.8 and not 1.4 to just give me that little extra room for not missing focus. The next thing we want to do is we want to choose our shutter speed. Now our shutter speed is going to be relative to our ISO and our aperture. So these shutter speeds can range between 1,000 and 8,000, just depends on how you're shooting. So just keep that in mind. There's no one set shutter speed, however you get the background dialed in. Next is you want to plan out your shot, watch your talent, and see what you need to do. If you're one of those people that need to have continuous shooting on, then go ahead and do that. But for the people that are more controlled, then you can just set it up as autofocus continuous and wide so you can track your shot. Next, whatever camera you're looking at, I don't know, some cameras might have the lock on feature. I know the Sonys do. I'm going to change my lock on from the 3 to 1 to make it lock on just a little bit better than it would if something else got in the frame. And the next thing you want to do is go out there and have fun and shoot. And until next time, we're gonna see y'all in our next video.